Booyakasha! Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. And once again it is time for the Monday Q&A. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, and let's get right into these questions. First question. My 16-year-old son, football player off season, saw his doctor the other day. Doctor says he needs to lose weight, 190 pounds, 5'9", so eat less. Also said he wouldn't burn enough calories to make a difference through exercise, so diet is best. Not really a question, but can you do a video challenging that? How do I put this nicely? The number of doctors I've met in my life who are not qualified to give basic nutritional science advice, it's more than I could count on my fingers. I've met at least 20 who really and truly are not qualified. And it's because medical doctors do not take more than 1 to 2 freshman level nutrition courses during the course of earning their MD. It's simply not part of their curriculum. It's just such a minor part of it. And so going to your doctor for nutrition advice is like going to your nutritionist to get your appendix removed or to get a prescription written. It's not the best choice, and there are exceptions. I've known medical doctors who are very up to speed with current nutrition literature, but they are the exception to the rule. They're not the norm. Now in this case, to say that a person who's already eating at maintenance calories wouldn't start losing weight and body fat if they increased their caloric expenditure through exercise is not only a violation of basic nutrition and biology, but it's so moronic that I'm actually shocked that a medical doctor actually uttered those words or even said that. It's just shocking. Because this is basic nutrition, so yes, he could do it through exercise. Now, I do get a bit concerned when teens need to lose weight, but if he is a little overweight, I would say even at that, because he lifts weights, he doesn't need to lose more than about 15 to 20 pounds at the very most. And he could do that, or he could even recomposition and lose very little weight if he just counts his calories, finds his maintenance, eats a high protein diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, and runs a very, very small deficit or even close to maintenance. He will go ahead and recomposition at that given body weight. Since he's playing football, he's obviously training, he's obviously doing conditioning work, he can recomposition doing that very easily at his age. So you may not even need to lose weight in order to get his body fat percentage down, or if he loses weight, you could still recomposition him and do it quickly through just extra conditioning work and extra weight training and just managing his diet closely without needing him to do like a true heavily caloric restricted diet. There's just no need for that. And he could very easily eat what he's eating now and just increase his conditioning work and start losing weight. He could start doing some interval training or sled drags or other GPP work 2 or 3 times a week on top of what he is doing. If he's eating the exact same number of calories he is now, he will start losing body fat and he will start losing weight. And I would much rather see that, even for a teen who needs to lose a little weight, who's already athletic and active. I would rather see them increase their conditioning work rather than decrease their food intake. So I'm going to have to disagree with the doctor here. He needs to go back and take some basic nutrition, and he needs to take some sports nutrition before he starts giving nutritional science advice to athletes, because this is clearly not his area of expertise. And if you want to get a second opinion, go take him to a nutritionist, preferably a sports nutritionist, if it's within your budget or your insurance will cover it, or if you just want to get a second opinion. That's what I would do. All right, next question. Explanation of the myotatic reflex. What is it and how to recognize it, and how it benefits the lifts in which you can engage it. Alright, quite simply in layman's terms, the myotatic reflex is a stretch reflex. It means that you have taken a weight with some sort of lift and you've put your body into a biomechanical position to where it puts stretch on the muscle at the bottom of a movement, and you don't hold it there, and as soon as you get to a deep stretch, you immediately come back up. And some perfect examples are the incline curl. If you look on the incline curl, your arm is back here, it puts stretch on your bicep at the bottom. And if you come down and you come back up quickly, as soon as you get that deep stretch at the bottom and you don't hold it there for a second or two, you immediately come back up. it will activate a myotatic reflex. The same with a Romanian deadlift in your hamstrings. Sometimes deep dumbbell presses for the chest can do the same thing for the pecs, but what happens with those stretch position movements when you do that, that stretch that you put on the muscle and that stretch reflex that happens basically makes your nervous system fire harder. It gives you a faster rate of motor unit recruitment, and therefore more muscle fibers are recruited more quickly in that muscle. So the advantage of a stretch reflex in a movement, it recruits more muscle fibers more easily even with a lighter weight. So it has direct advantages for both hypertrophy and for strength because it improves neural efficiency to some extent through just recruiting more fibers, and obviously all that extra fiber recruitment will of course yield hypertrophy benefits. So those are your benefits to it, and it is something that if you have lagging body parts or a body part you're struggling to bring up, incorporating some stretch reflex type work for it can very much be an effective tool to get it caught back up. Alright, next question. If your goal is physique based, how much attention should be paid to scale weight on a bulk in your opinion? Really depends on if you're a novice or not and how far you are from how big you want to get. I would say disregard it and just bulk. If you're early on, if you're in that first year of training and you know you want to gain another 25 pounds of muscle from where you're starting, then you need to just bulk hard. But you still need to pay attention to the scale weight, obviously, because you want to gain weight. But I'm assuming this is for people who are out of their new gains. I'm going to say if you are drug-free and you're very concerned primarily with aesthetics and physique, and you're through your novice phase, you've made all your new gains, I would say you do need to pay very close attention to your scale weight, because what you need to do is make sure that when you are bulking, you are clean bulking, and so you want to gain very small amounts of body weight. You don't want to be gaining 3 or 4 pounds a month at that point, and I would actually say that at any given time, you don't ever want to go above, at the absolute most, 15 to 20 pounds over your ideal weight at a given muscle mass, because you don't ever want to have to cut more than that. And that would be my advice for drug-free people whose goals are primarily physique and aesthetic oriented as far as watching the scale. Alright, next question. Pain in my forearm whilst curling. Why? Very simple, because you are turning your curl into a forearm curl. And what you'll notice is that if you do this while you're curling and there's any bend in the wrist whatsoever on any of your curling movements, that is why you're getting that. That's the cause. And this is something that people have known, bodybuilders have known this for 50 years, and even Arnold wrote about it, is that he preferred to oftentimes to let his wrist trail about 10 to 15 degrees behind his forearm when he did any sort of curl, so that it avoids recruiting the forearm as much and it puts more direct load on the bicep. Now, it could also be a case of you've got a really unusual grip width, either way too narrow or way too wide on, say, your barbell curls, or your personal anatomy and your arm structure. So that's also something to look at, but 90% of the time it has to do with the fact that you're bending your wrist when you're curling, and therefore you're recruiting the forearm instead of the bicep as much as you would like. Alright, last question. Do you think Scooby will ever win his pro card? This is my channel. Why the fuck are we talking about Scooby? But all joking aside, regardless of what you think of Scooby or his advice or him personally, let's look at the facts. Guy's making great money off his YouTube channel. I promise you, with his number of daily views and his subscriber base, he's pulling over 6 figures. He's making big money. He's got an engineering degree that he can fall back on, and he still does engineering stuff for fun and as a hobby. So he's very financially well off. He's financially successful. He's educationally successful. He's making money doing the things that he loves. My understanding is the guy's happily married. He's been able to provide very well for his family. And on top of that, the guy in his 50s has a physique that the vast majority of 20-year-old gym goers do not have and probably will never have. So he's also winning on that front. So I would say Scooby already has his pro card at life. So he doesn't need a pro card in bodybuilding at this point. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you next time.